Good morning and welcome to KidNuz. I'm Tori. Today is Friday, September 11th, 2020. And we begin with a word to the wise. Never underestimate the power of an 11-year-old girl or the strength of her words. Adi Topolosky of Rockville, Maryland is an avid hoops fan and was hot to find the signature sneaker of Washington Mystics star Elena Delle Donne. Her search landed her and her dad in a local Foot Locker where an employee not only said he'd never heard of that player or that brand, but that he'd rather, quote, watch paint dry than watch women's sports. For Adi, hurt turned to anger, and anger turned into a now viral blog post about the lack of respect for female athletes and their fans. Delle Donne has personally reached out, the national press is on the story, and Foot Locker has had its cage rattled. After months of radio silence, a company executive recently called the Topolosky family with the apology they've been waiting for since January. Today is 9/11, an important day in American history. Due to the need for social distancing, however, remembrances on this, the 19th anniversary, will look a little different. The biggest changes will be at Ground Zero in New York City, where organizers eliminated the stage to keep too many people from gathering. Names will still be read, but instead of being live, they'll be taped, and only families of the lost will be allowed in the plaza before 3 p.m. Not compromised to COVID, the tolling of bells in the morning and the twin beams of light at dusk. A shortened ceremony will be held in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. Both President Trump and Democratic challenger Joe Biden are expected to attend. So far, the Pentagon has not released its plans. Eyes open and head on a swivel if you live anywhere near Knoxville, Tennessee. Police there say a tiger may be on the loose. A sheriff's deputy swears he saw a really big cat cross the street in an industrial park before disappearing into some woods. A second possible sighting was reported a few miles away. Both the local zoo and Knoxville's Tiger Sanctuary say all their cats are accounted for, but officers are not taking any Jumanji-like chances. As of this recording, the tiger hasn't been found. Helicopters are up and dozens of animal experts are on the ground, hoping to find it before it can cause trouble. Personal ownership of a big cat is illegal in Tennessee, but that doesn't always stop people, especially in the wake of Netflix's popular Tiger King series. It was 100 yards of blissful normalcy. Last night, pro football returned to the field, on time, and with fans in the stands. Not the packed house a non-COVID era game would bring, but real people in real seats nonetheless. The season opener was played in Kansas City, with the reigning Super Bowl champion Chiefs taking on the Houston Texans. On the turf, it was a game like any other, but elsewhere, there were noticeable differences. Stadium capacity was capped at 22%. The sideline had no cheerleaders, mascots, or reporters, and coaches wore masks. And perhaps to make up for lost ground on the social justice front, the league painted, "It takes all of us in one end zone and end racism in the other." Final score, Chiefs 34, Texans 20. We don't know yet when a coronavirus vaccine will be available, but we're starting to get an idea of what it will take to distribute it. According to the International Air Transport Association, 8,000 massive cargo planes will be required to get even a single dose to the 7.8 billion people who will need it worldwide. The group's CEO says it will be the mission of the century and is urging governments to work with the airlines now to get a plan in place so there's no downtime. According to the World Health Organization, 180 potential vaccines are in the pipeline, with 35 of them in various stages of clinical trials. That's it for KidNuz. Now our KidNuz quiz. How did an 11-year-old girl get the attention of the WNBA, the national press, and Foot Locker? With an essay about the lack of respect for female athletes and their fans. Where will President Trump and challenger Joe Biden be today? At a 9/11 remembrance ceremony. What might be on the loose in Knoxville, Tennessee? A tiger. What sport is back in business? Pro football with a game last night between the Chiefs and Texans. In One for the Road, college freshman Liz Sandmillen was recording herself singing in the bedroom of her family's Texas home when she became visibly annoyed by the footsteps of her mom walking around in the attic. In the blink of an eye, Mom made a grand videotaped entrance from stage north. She missed a beam and ripped through the sheetrock and the ceiling. One leg dangled below, the rest of her stayed above. Not to worry, Liz says. Mom is fine, not even a bruise. Dad, on the other hand, is taking some lumps for asking about the ceiling before asking if Mom was okay. Before we go, we head over to Kim for today's KidNuz shoutouts.
Thanks, Tori. Our first stop today is in Southwest Florida, where we give a big hello to Mrs. Overmeyer's class at Laurel Oaks in Naples, and up to the Panhandle for Mrs. Kroom and her students at Franklin County in East Point. And we send birthday wishes to Caden in Chillicothe, Missouri, Sydney in Spartanburg, South Carolina, Isaac in Port Chester, New York, Marty from Alexandria in Ontario, Canada, Jake from Estevan in Saskatchewan, Canada, Hattie in Durham, North Carolina, Julia in East Lyme, Connecticut, Maya in Ruidoso, New Mexico, Allison in Media, Pennsylvania, Sullivan in Minneapolis, Minnesota, Ashley in Marysville, Ohio, to Virginia for Lydia in Springfield and Jacob in Front Royal, and to California for Una in San Jose and Connor in Carlsbad. Thanks for listening, everyone. Don't forget our Week in Review quiz on our website, and we'll see you back here for more Kid News Monday morning.